Hello, fifth graders. This is Miss Advina, and we're back at Unit 2, Week 3, Lesson 3. We want to do the second part of that lesson, and so it's time to get those dendrites stretching and those synapses snapping. So let's look back at what we've done so far. We've gone through paragraphs 1 through 9. We've underlined the key details, and we have numbered those key details. So then our very next step in our objectives was to share your understanding with a classmate and use those key events to summarize the text. You want to write to demonstrate my knowledge of key events. So the very next thing we need to do is to talk to a classmate. Go ahead and pause the video and talk to them about what we've already read and what the key events are. And we want to go ahead and write that summary of paragraphs 1 through 9. So I'm going to go back and reread what I've already written. So far, I have the first event, which is that the boys spied two men digging up gold. And they decided to keep a lookout for the Spaniard when he should come to town spying out for chances to do his revengeful job. We also found out that they agreed that the revenge might possibly mean someone else. That night, Tom had a really, really bad night. He was having very bad dreams. And when he woke in the morning, he decided maybe the whole thing is a dream. So Tom concluded to let Huck lead up to the subject. If he did not do it, the adventure would be proved to have been only a dream. And that was our third key event. So my next step is to go ahead and write an IVF and a summary. Now I pre-did this because I wanted to save a little bit of time. So in paragraphs 1 through 9 of Tom's Secret, the author tells that the boys know about a treasure, but it is an unsafe situation. The boys decide to watch the Spaniard. Then that night, Tom dreams about the treasure. And I forgot a comma right there. Then that night, Tom dreams about the treasure. He thinks that it might all be a dream and goes to Huck in the morning to see if it really happened. So there's my close reading summary of what happened in paragraphs 1 through 9. Now, your job is going to be you're going to read paragraphs 10 through 26 of Tom's Secret to find out about the boys' plans. Now, you have to underline and number key events in the reading. This is your chance to practice. So I'm going to have you pause the video, and I want you to go through and read paragraphs 10 through 26 of Tom's Secret to find out about the boys' plans. Remember to annotate, underline, and number key events in the reading. So you should already have this part done, but I'm going to go ahead and read paragraphs 10 through 26 out loud. Hello, Huck. Hello yourself. Silence for a minute. Tom, if we'd left the blame tools at the dead tree, we'd got the money. Oh, ain't it awful? Tain't a dream. Then it tain't a dream. Somehow I most wish it was. Doggin if I don't, Huck. What ain't a dream? Oh, and that thing yesterday. I been half thinking it was. Dream, if them stairs hadn't broken down, you'd 'a seen how much dream it was. I've had dreams enough all night, with him going for me all through 'em. Rot him. No, not rot him. Find him. Track the money. Tom will never find him. A feller don't have only one chance for such a pile, and that one's lost. I'd feel mighty shaky if I was to see him anyway. Well, so'd I, but I'd like to see him anyway and track him out to his number two. Number two? Yes, that's it. I've been thinking about that, but I can't make nothing out of it. What do you reckon it is? I don't know. It's too deep. Say, Huck, maybe it's the number of a house. Goody. No, Tom, that ain't it. If it is, it ain't in this one horse town. They ain't no numbers here. Well, that's so. Let me think a minute. Here, it's the number of a room in a tavern, you know? Oh, that's the trick. They ain't only two taverns. We can find out quick. You stay here, Huck, till I come. So I'm reading through this, and one of the very first things I see is that Huck helps Tom realize the adventure was real. And then Tom affirms that he wants to follow the Spaniard to number two. And the last key detail I'm noticing is the boys realize number two may be a room in a tavern. Now, I haven't underlined these, but they should be underlined in your text. I don't want to do too much for you. Now, we need to write a summary for this, and for that summary, I want you to write it on the side on page 26. Now, you're not going to do it in your digital copy. I want you to do it on your paper copy. And that will lead us over to this, which is our OneNote Online. We want to be able to do all of this here. So we're going to go to our close reading, and I want to go to my content library. So I go to my content library. I was checking Ziels to see if everything was going through okay. I go to close reading. My computer's going a little bit slow. Week 10, Tom's Secret. And it'll just take a moment. Okay, now we already did lesson 1, 2, and now we're on 3 and 5. Tom's Secret, identify key events and summarize. So in paragraphs 1 through 5, looking back, the main idea of those paragraphs was, and let's look back at our text, and this is why we annotate. It's so that we can easily go back and see what's going on. Oh, that the boys spied or saw two men digging up gold, and they decided to keep a lookout for the... Okay, so the key details. Let's start there. The boys saw two, not toe, men digging up treasure. And then they decide to watch the Spaniard. And I'm not concerned with spelling at this point. At this point, I just want to get my ideas down. And then Tom has bad... Oh, that was in paragraphs 6 through 9. So their very first plan was to watch the Spaniard. So the main idea of this part is the boys see treasure and know that it could lead to an unsafe situation. So then I go over to paragraph 6 through 9. And in this one, this is where Tom was having his dream. So I want to make sure that I get that in there and that he goes and sees Huck to find out if it really was a dream. So I come back over here. Tom has bad dreams about the treasure. Tom goes to Huck to make sure they were just dreams. Maybe there is no treasure. So, taking those key details, and I can even bullet those key details by going over the top of them and going to the bullets so that it's easier for me to see one key detail from the next. So bullets are very useful in separating out our key details. Now I go to my main idea for those two, and now I can take those key details and make a inference about what the main idea of that was. So Tom has bad dreams about the treasure, and Tom goes to make sure they were just dreams. Maybe there is no treasure. The main idea is that the treasure is a wonderful discovery, but presents danger. Okay, so I think the bad dreams were really that idea that it's dangerous, and they want to make sure that this treasure is a wonderful thing. I mean, if they could get that kind of money, that would be great, but it's also dangerous. So I think that's really what Mark Twain was trying to get across to us. Remember, the main idea is not something that's right there in the text. The main idea is the inference. It's where you put together these key details into a statement that gives you, well, what was it mostly about? So your job is to go down here to paragraphs 10 through 26, and I want you to fill in the key details and come up with a main idea. What do those key details add up to? What inference can you make? And then we're going to go ahead and do paragraphs 27 through 31 will be the next section, and 32 through 39 will be the last section. Okay, boys and girls, it's time to get those dendrites stretching and those synapses snapping, and I will see you in class.